Yes, guys, and welcome back to the Tactical Waffle podcast. Today we're going to be doing a little Champions League roundup, and I think we're also going to be talking about just the Champions League in the latter stages and who you think is going to win it. Does anyone want to get started on any of the games? Any of the first leg games?
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
I hope they lose.
I think most people hope they lose, to be fair, but I mean, one thing I will say is that Sporting did play very, very well. I think that's...
Me and Lewis watched the first half of the game on. We watched the first half of the game at work.
Yeah.
And I thought they were off from the front foot to start with. And I genuinely think if they go with that mentality again, like they were at home in Portugal, I genuinely think that there could be an upset on the cards because we've seen them come back from 3-0 down, albeit be against Bodo Glimt, but it's still a turnaround, and it still shows their spirit, especially being away from home.
Well, and they're only 1-0 down, right?
Yeah,
and it came right at the end, so you can absolutely make a game of it.
Arsenal aren't on the best form either, so
no, exactly.
they're kind of there for taking.
To the most Kai Havertzy goal that Kai Havertz could score.
But you kind of knew he was going to score. Like as soon as he came on, you could kind of just tell that Kai Havertz was going to score at the end because nothing really was happening. Sort of the last 20 minutes of the game. But one player that I was really, really impressed by the way, in that game was Diomande from Sporting. He was rock solid for most of that game, and nearly had one of the most outrageous assists I've ever seen. Literally from his own half, Trevellaed it literally behind Arsenal's defence, right to Araujo, and David Raya made an unbelievable sail onto the bar. Like that genuinely would have been one of probably the assists of the season, if I'm honest.
That's the bit that we.
I wish we got him.
We were thankfully on break at the time that this happened. I think genuinely it was. Me and Lewis were genuinely gobsmacked by how brilliant it was.
Yeah. And Cody, going back to your point just a second ago, I do vaguely remember Diomande nearly going to Palace in the summer.
Yeah, no, it was close, but it didn't happen. But I wish we got him. He looked like he's a really good player.
Yeah, technically very, very good on the ball. Obviously, we saw his passing ability with that outrageous ball over the top. Defensively solid as well for most of that.
I might have to look at that pass because I was watching Madrid.
It was disgusting.
I was as well.
Shall we move on to Madrid Bayern? Because there's one player that I really, really want to talk about from that game.
Manuel Neuer forgot that he was 40 years old.
Yeah, like genuinely, how can you be that good at 40? It's stupid. Like the amount of saves he was making, some of the saves he was making, the caliber of saves was just stupid.
Like the age where goalkeepers sort of, I guess, hit their prime has always known to be later than field players, right? With many goalkeepers playing well into their 30s, but it was the athleticism in the saves. Like they weren't fired straight at him. He. What the fuck? And so it was. They weren't fired directly at him. He was getting down to the floor,
and across,
and he didn't look like a man who was slowing down and getting into his 40s and getting ready to live out the rest of his life away from the sport.
He continues to prove, like much of what Buffon did throughout his career, that age is just a number, and you can still be a very, very solid goalkeeper at the highest level.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like for me, Neuer is the greatest goalkeeper of all time because you couldn't name me another goalkeeper that could go ban for the Ballon d'Or with Messi and Ronaldo. Like 2014,
he revolutionized the role as well. With the whole
in 2014, he came third in the Ballon d'Or and was very, very close voting wise to both Messi and Ronaldo. Like, do you realise how crazy that is?
Emmett, I've got a tech-related question here, just quickly. Would your mic pick up the screen share if I show Cody this goal?
Yes. You can do it quickly though. I'll just cut this bit out quickly. You could go show the goal.
2 seconds.
The
goal.
goal.
Do you mean the pass?
No. It should come up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wait, I watched these highlights. Haven't I seen it?
Yeah.
Look,
Like,
that's nasty.
Oh, that is filthy. That is.
Yeah, and David Raya saved that as well.
I
David
might
Raya
have seen
tipped
it,
that onto the bar.
So this is probably a 30 to 40 yard pass.
Yeah.
Like he gets the ball in so much space.
That
you
is
see Araujo
perfection.
making the run, but Ben White's in no man's land. But it's such a good run and such a good ball. Like,
Look, that
Would you even think to Travella it from there as well? By the way,
right over the defender's right shoulder. That is just perfection.
I don't even know what goes through your brain.
It's a great strike.
I mean, it's a great strike. It's such a good
strike,
like. If you look at the replay, David Raya's actually saved it.
I want to see if it does replay it. Look at this. This angle is better. Like it's round the corner of Ben White's left shoulder.
Like, he's made the run at just the right time as well.
And the bounce is perfect. And the bounce allows him to adjust to the ball perfectly.
Brilliant pass.
This
is what I thought you'd be doing in the 11-a-side, Ben.
To be fair, I had a couple of decent balls in that. But the
Havertz,
but the Havertz goal was very much like what Havertz scored a similar goal for Chelsea in the league. I think it was against Everton. I have a vague memory that it was against Everton. It's exactly the same goal. He's very, very cool, level-headed with his finishing. And do I think Havertz is a good player? Yeah, I do. Despite him playing for Arsenal, I think he's still got a bit to him. He's just come back from injury. But honestly, I could see that tie going either way.
I completely don't understand why he started in the 10 against Bournemouth, though. I don't think he's a brilliant 10.
For me, he's more of a striker. Like, he's very 100%. Much sort of a poacher. Like, gets in the right spaces at the right time, can sort of get you a goal when you need to. He performs well in a lot of big games as well.
I see the vision playing him as a 10. Like, I don't think playing him as a 10 is a bad option. I just think he's a much better striker, and you have better 10s on that team.
I mean, Eze was on the bench. I don't know why they just didn't start him in the 10, to be honest.
I think to a certain extent, I guess if Havertz is playing well, right, like showing confidence, you want to let him ride that out. But yeah, I think he's much better as a striker, and starting as a 10 just isn't quite where he's strong.
Yeah. Pivoting back to the Bayern game, there is another player who played extremely well, and that's Michael Olise.
What a baller, man. He's so good.
Is he the best right winger in the world right now? Like, right now?
It's very, very close, I think, between him and Yamal, because they're very similar in the way that they're kind of direct, can take on any player in the world, basically, and beat them and create something. But the one thing that stands out about Michael Olise this season is that I'm not sure if you see his stats, but they are outrageously good. Like in the Bundesliga alone, do you want me to read it? I'll get it off my phone now, but Michael Olise's stats in the Bundesliga alone just this season have been incredible. I'll be just a couple of seconds. Yeah, Michael Olise. So in 28 Bundesliga games, right, he's got 12 goals, 19 assists.
Bearing in mind, he only started 22 of those games as well.
Yeah, like it's bonkers. Like it's genuinely crazy. And in all competitions this season, he's played 47 games, got 20 goals and 28 assists.
Yeah, those are ridiculous numbers.
Like, bearing in mind, it's midway through April, and he's only 4 assists away from breaking Messi's record.
Yeah.
Sorry, from equaling Messi's record, which is just it's crazy. Like,
for me personally, he's the best right wing in the world right now.
I think.
Then again,
I think it would
be
also be difficult to mount a strong argument against him. Like, I think, especially given the performance that he had against
against Real Madrid.
Yes, thank you.
For
Bayern, my brain went blank there. But I think he played so strong in such a big game. Right, there's two titans when it comes to the Champions League, and it's really where you kind of find players to step up, and I think him and Neuer were the two big standouts from that game. And I think Bayern is not a team that I would want to play if I were literally any other team in the world. They look terrifying.
I think at this current stage, I think the two favourites of the Champions League are probably Bayern Munich and PSG, but I'd pin down PSG as Bayern as my winners. Purely because they scored so many goals this season. Whenever they go on the attack in every game I've watched them play this season, they just look like they're going to score.
I think
they could. I just think they look like they're going to beat any team in the world. Like,
and that's
Harry Kane's been unbelievable this season. Elise's just been world class. Luis Diaz has been extremely good.
Elise's just different, man. Like, I saw a tweet the other day that's saying that Chelsea were going to pay Elise's release clause at 35 million 2 years ago. And look at what he's done. Look at what he's doing. He is. I think he should be up there for the Ballon d'Or, personally.
I think if Bayern win the Champions League, which I think they will, it's either going to be him or Kane, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the thing with Bayern is I don't think you can ever discount their attacking line. Like, every time they move forward, they look like they could score from anywhere in the attacking third, which is something that I don't think many teams have.
Apparently they want Anthony Gordon.
I did see that, actually.
I've seen that. I've just been looking at it, So when I was looking up the managers, I'd seen that Anthony Gordon to Bayern is a thing that they want, which is a quite interesting proposition if you ask me.
He's got a list of suitors to choose from now. He is slightly spoiled for choice, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else it was, but there were, I think, two other Premier League clubs. I want to say, is it United? No, I don't remember. But it was something like two other Premier League clubs as well, and I think somewhere in the league as well. We're all looking at him, so the man is spoiled for choice.
He hasn't had the best season, but neither has Newcastle. So
I don't think we should discount PSG. I think the way that they played the other night was special. Like,
100%.
Kvaratskhelia is cooking on gas right now, playing some of the best football in Europe. Some of the most, I would argue, the most productive football in the Champions League run. Perhaps his league stats don't live up to quite what you'd think of a player of his quality, but I think in the Champions League against Chelsea, he just destroyed.
In terms of big games, he's always there.
Yep, he's an ever-present figure, as is one of the best midfielders. If I'd argue he's probably top 3 or top 5 at this point, is João Neves. And I think he's a joke of a football player. I think his abilities and what he will grow into as he plays more should be scary to everyone who plays football.
Yeah, I think the whole PSG midfield really, it's just they have got such good players just all over the pitch. It's kind of hard to discount them.
I feel like that's been true of PSG for a few years, though, but their problem hasn't been talent. It's been getting the talent to work together, which is something that they seem to be doing right now. And I think that's what makes this particularly terrifying, is they've actually seemed to got very talented players who actually seem to coordinate and work together, or at least on the surface anyway. Maybe deeper they aren't.
But they are playing their best football right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what really Dembele has been doing. I don't know if he's still in the same vein of form as he was last year. And judging by the fact I haven't heard much from him, I'd imagine he isn't. But Dembele is Dembele. You're only going to keep him quiet for so long.
Yeah, I think he's had like quite a bit of injury issues this year. He's only started 8 games in Liga, and he's got 10 goals, 5 assists. So
it's
that's
not,
not bad.
that much of a drop off.
No, yeah, no, not really. But like, I think he just needs to play more, really, with Dembele.
Yeah, you can't doubt him.
Yeah,
That he's plenty talented enough to recover from injuries, judging by his injury history. Like we never thought that he'd get back to the level that he was at last year, judging by how his career started off. But I really think he's stepped up his game. He's worked on his health, which is the most important thing, and like staying fit and healthy.
yeah.
And that's just more of the pleasure to us to watch, and has been a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. Like,
even if it is destroying Chelsea, I'm a fan of good football, and when I watched that team, who I knew who would roll up to London and destroy us, and they did.
Yeah,
they were better the whole game. We were just disorganised.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they didn't score more against Liverpool.
There's also another team in a similar colourway that's coming. I think it's Barcelona. I think they are being heavily slept on. Well, not heavily slept on, but like I think Bayern PSGs are being looked at. And I think Barcelona, honestly, is probably one of the best teams in terms of form right now on the planet.
Yeah, they are 2-0 down against Atletico, but if any team can like score,
this would do numbers for Lamine Yamal and his reputation as a football player.
Yeah, if they come back from this, and especially if he's the main guy that's doing it as well.
Like, he's been doing the business for Barcelona the last 2 or 3 years now, and I think if he can take this game by the scruff of the neck and go and win it for him, like he scored a brilliant goal at the weekend.
Yeah, I still think it will be difficult though. Like it's not an easy road 100%. Ahead of Barcelona, and
to beat the Simeone low block, that's going to be a big challenge.
And also, I think to your point about them being slept on, I only think that's partially true because I think everybody realizes how dangerous Barcelona are, but I think it's so difficult to compete with the Bayern and the PSG with how good they look right now and the talent that both of those teams have, right? You look at Harry Kane, Michael Olise, Neuer, like those are some of the biggest names in their position right now. And I think, yes, Barcelona has that, but I don't think they're in quite the same position. So absolutely, I think Barcelona could still go win it because they're still Barcelona. They're a very good football club. But I don't really think they have quite the same shot that Bayern and PSG do.
I think with Barcelona as well, there is a glaring weakness with the defensive side of things. They're not a great team defensively, and I think a lot of teams can take advantage of that, like a Bayern, PSG, teams that have great attacking firepower.
Especially but with how many goals Bayern scores, like if it does go that way, you would have to say even if it comes down to just who can score more, you would have to say you'd favor the Bayern attack over the Barcelona defense than you would the Barcelona attack over the Bayern defense.
Yeah, I would actually like to see that game, to be honest. Bayern Barcelona would be very interesting.
I think Bayern Munich would murder Barcelona purely because, like you say, like Barca's defense isn't bad. It's just I feel like their high line will be penetrated so easily by Bayern Munich's attack purely because of how well they attack. Like they scored so many goals this season, and being able to expose Barcelona's high line will literally take them a couple of minutes, and it could get ugly.
Yeah.
Like it'll probably be one of those situations where, like, if Barcelona are on it, then they might get a couple of goals, but Bayern Munich would still hammer them.
They're a very young team as well, Barcelona.
Yeah.
I think that if they can keep what they have, I think give it 2 years, and I think they'll be absolutely terrifying. But
Yeah.
I think right now Bayern and PSG are just in a better place to be the favorites to win it. But again, I don't think anyone's truly sleeping on Barcelona. Everyone knows what that team is capable of. It's just a case of Bayern and PSG look out of their minds right now.
Yeah. Is there any way back for Liverpool, or are they just kind of done?
No. I mean, if you look at that first leg, like 2-0 doesn't do PSG any justice whatsoever, because it could have it could have easily been 5 or 6-0 really. Like,
yeah,
it was kind of, I'm not really sure what Slot was thinking, because he decided to try and like a completely different system, like trying out a 5-back instead of the traditional 4-back, and ultimately got absolutely peppered by PSG. Should have been a lot more. I mean, Liverpool still fortunate to be in the tie really, and if they do come back and go through to the semi-finals, it'll be an absolute miracle.
George, he said things will be different at Anfield. Slot's cooking something.
He's not cooking anything. He is not cooking a thing.
Keep that man out of the kitchen.
Yeah, he needs to go out of the kitchen, go somewhere else, pack his bags, just try a different profession.
Yeah, go for a walk.
Yeah, just go for a walk. Just think about something else other than football.
I think the only way back for Liverpool would be for PSG to royally fuck something up. I really think if PSG come prepared for that game, that Liverpool won't stand a chance, even at Anfield.
You look at PSG's team and it's just so good. Like, they've got so much depth, so much talent. Like, I mean, you've got João Neves, Vitinha, Doué, some of my favourite players in the world, purely because of how fun they are to watch. And it's just, I'd never get tired of watching a team like PSG, purely because of how, like, the football they play is just so entertaining.
Yeah. I think Anfield's lost a bit of its, I don't know even what you call it,
its confidence.
Yeah, like it's not the same.
No, I mean, the thing is, a lot of their sort of better players have sort of fallen out of form or are getting a bit old now. Like, obviously, Van Dijk's, I think, 35 this year.
Yeah.
Salah's leaving at the end of the season. Robertson's leaving at the end of the season.
McAllister's looking to get out as well, I think.
Yeah, McAllister's looking at a move to. I saw either. I think it was
somewhere in Spain.
I want to say Atletico.
That's what I think that sounds right.
But I'm pretty sure I saw that on BBC Sports. But
I'm pretty sure I saw that as well. So that sounds right. McAllister to Atletico, I think. Someone else.
Simeone written all over him.
I was going to say, speaking of Simeone, that I saw some of that. There's a possibility he might be leaving at the end of the season, and it's weird. It's weird to think about it because you couldn't really imagine a world where Simeone isn't managing. Well, Atletico Madrid isn't, like their manager isn't Diego Simeone. Like, you can't imagine a world where he isn't their manager.
I know, he's been there for such a long time, and his football is embedded into the Atletico Madrid identity now. It's going to be weird.
I mean, the style of football itself is absolutely horrid. Like, but I think most people know. I mean, he's won a fair bit over the years. Like, competing with Real Madrid and Barcelona for La Liga over the last nearly 20 years. I think he's been at Atletico Madrid for.
No easy feat.
No.
Yeah.
Right, in a league that I think is very historically basically just a cage match for Barcelona and Real Madrid. I think he has brought a bit of a fight to it. And
I'll tell you what, one season in particular as well with Simeone was 2013-14, where he was literally 30 seconds away from winning Atletico Madrid the Champions League. If it wasn't for that scabby corner from Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, Ramos. Iconic.
But, I mean, if you think, like, that season, Atletico Madrid won La Liga. I think they got knocked out of the Spanish Cup in the semi-finals that year. And they, like I say, they were literally 30, 45 seconds away from winning the Champions League. Like, if you put that into account and compare that to other teams at the time, like across Europe, that is like a genuinely impressive achievement.
Yeah. I think they were just unlucky with the timing as well.
Yeah.
That Madrid and Barcelona were just so good at that time.
Yeah, I mean, Barcelona were quite unfortunate that season because Messi got injured 2/3 of the way through and didn't really win much. Real Madrid won the Copa del Rey that season. And obviously Messi came back for the World Cup and lost the World Cup final. But like I say, like I think with the whole sort of Barcelona Atletico Madrid tie, I don't think. I mean, Barcelona could come back, but it's like Atletico Madrid were fortunate that Barcelona got the red card, and obviously Alvarez scored that ridiculous free kick and all.
Great technique, by the way.
Yeah, and I still wish Alvarez never left City. I've been saying it for the past year. It's. I don't think Barcelona will come back purely because I think Atletico Madrid will just go defensive and just hold on to that lead.
Ben, would you take Simeone at Chelsea?
I would love to see that man at Chelsea. I would
Really?
love to see that man. Yes.
Fez?
Bring the aggression back to football. Bring a bit of physical football. That's what we want.
Just complete no nonsense.
Yeah.
Yep. If in doubt,
make players arseholes.
If in doubt, kick it out. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you a team that will not be making a comeback this week as well, and that's Fiorentina. Palace absolutely battered them.
Yeah, great result for you.
Yeah. I mean,
Fiorentina,
the second half, we kind of...
Fiorentina turned up for the first half of that game and looked a little lost. Like they kind of forgot they were on the pitch, it looked like.
Yeah, it was really weird. Because second half, they started to get into it a bit, but it was a bit too late. Like, honestly, like, Italian football is so finished, man. They've got Jack Harrison.
I was just about to say that. Like, Fiorentina this season especially has been well off it. Like, they're nowhere near the European places. I'm pretty sure they were bottom of the table in January. Like, that's how bad their season's been. I think they're doing a bit better now. I think they're out of the relegation zone. But like you say, like the standard of Italian football when you compare it to other sort of leagues in Europe, like if you look at the sort of Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, like you see Italian teams losing to teams that they just shouldn't lose to. Obviously, Italy couldn't even qualify for the World Cup. Like that's how bad the state of Italian football is right now.
Fiorentina are out of the relegation zone by 5 points.
Yeah, like that is horrific. Like for a team that should be competing for Europe, like have a fair bit of depth in their team. I've like players like Moise Kean and David De Gea, like experienced players have played at the top level. Like you should realistically be competing for sort of Europa League at least, really.
Yeah, it's kind of lucky that Moise Kean weren't playing against us. He was injured, but that's why I weren't really that worried going into it, because obviously because of the standard of Italian football, but also we play better against teams that like come out and attack us more. That's why we haven't really done that well in Europe.
Yeah,
so far.
Speaking of the whole kind of like adapting to Europe kind of thing, like I thought Palace Fiorentina was going to be a lot closer because obviously Fiorentina have done very well in the Conference League the past few years, but been to 2 finals.
Yeah,
and I think obviously considering it's the quarterfinals now, like I genuinely thought the pressure was going to get to Palace, and I thought Fiorentina were going to come away with something, which they still could in the second leg, but it's unlikely.
I think similar to how it stands with Liverpool PSG, I think Palace would almost have to fuck something up in Florence because I think they played so dominantly, like they would need to come out with something and make a mistake, I think, for Fiorentina to have a chance.
Yeah.
Also, we're just such a good defensive team. Like, we're really good defensively.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, one massive positive for Palace is that Mateta's back now and scoring goals.
Yeah, he's back in form. He's scoring.
Yeah, I mean, he was very, very close to going to AC Milan, wasn't he? He failed his medical.
Yeah. But he scored against Fiorentina. He also scored a brace against Newcastle. I'll come on for Strand Larsen. Scored a brace.
Yeah.
And won us the game 2-1.
I still don't rate Strand Larsen. He's a waste of space.
He's played all right. It's just that the goals aren't there.
I don't think he's quite that bad, but I also don't think he deserves to have broken Palace's transfer record for what he is. I think he kind of sits somewhere in between the two. Like I do think he's decent, and he's shown that he can perform at Palace. I don't know. The results aren't there yet, and it's been long enough now where he should have settled in and the results should have started to come in. And I just haven't seen it for what, £45 million, something like that.
Yeah. When Mateta come on, we just look such we just look such a different team as well. Like he won us so many balls, won us a lot of fouls, and then obviously scored the 2 goals.
Which just provides us something extra.
Which is strange, because Strand Larson, you would think, would do all that as well, because he is a huge human being. But he just seems
they're kind of like similar in size.
Yeah, he just seems to crumple so easily. Like he doesn't seem to be able to stand up as much as you'd think for someone of his size.
Yeah.
Like when we watched the game at Sellers, like he never jumped for a header. He always went low, and for a man of his size, it's just shambolic, if I'm being honest. Like he had a good head on every of the Zarinsky defenders. Yeah, you should be winning every header that comes your way instead of losing all of them. Really.
Yeah. I think our toughest game now is probably to the final is probably Shakhtar maybe or AZ.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, do you think Palace will win?
I think there's a chance they'll win. What the entire thing?
Yeah, the entire thing.
I think there's a very good chance you'll win the entire thing, but you still got some half decent teams left in there, like Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Obviously you've got Shakhtar Donetsk. Speaking of
they
Shakhtar
are 2-0
Donetsk,
down,
by the way.
Strasbourg.
Speaking of Shakhtar, right? Do you know who their manager is? And I only found this out the other day. Arda Turan, who used to play for Atletico. Yeah, he was class back in his day as well. Like
he played for Barca as well, didn't he?
Yeah, played for Barca, and then I think he went back to Turkey, got arrested for something quite dodgy. But either way, like going back to Atletico, Barcelona actually, and this is going to sound really, really horrible on my part. Speaking like going back to the subject of absolute waste of space, Ferran Torres is pony. I'm not gonna glaze him because he's played for City. He's still a snake for moving to Barca in my eyes. He stunk up the gaff, and he's stunk up the gaff in every game I've watched him play this season. Like, he has so many clear-cut chances where he sort of gets the ball in behind, or he sort of has loads and loads of space to just make something happen, and he does absolutely niche with it.
What do you mean, George? He scored a brace against Espanyol. He's clearly a good player.
Great. I mean, the thing is, he scored. I think I saw somewhere where I think he scored 17 or 18 goals in all competitions this season. And on paper, that's quite good. But if you look at all the other chances he gets in games, like if you actually watch him play, he has been. Yeah, he's not been good. But I think the things with Barcelona, like you say, is that I think they're definitely vulnerable in defence because of that high line.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go through purely because Atletico will just be playing defensive the entire second leg, and it'll be a lot harder away from home as well. If you look at the last time Barcelona played Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano, they got battered 4-0, and all 4 of those goals came in the first half. So Barcelona wouldn't want that to happen again. But also, one thing that I thought was quite funny was I'm not sure if any of you guys saw, but Lamine Yamal changed his profile picture to when LeBron James won the 2016 NBA Finals. When the Cleveland Cavaliers came back from 3-1 to win 4-3.
Oh,
did he actually?
Yeah. Yeah, he is dialed in, but I still think, the things with the Champions League, you just never know. Like, anything can happen. Yeah. I think if Lamine Yamal manages to single-handedly pull us, I think if they manage to go through, it will be mental.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about the Arsenal game. They lost.
Yeah,
did.
Massive.
Alex Scott.
Massive. What a boy. What
I watched like the first half before work. Like I watched Yokero's pen as well.
It was a good pen as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it was.
The one thing I will say, and I don't want to get complacent just yet because, like, yes, I've been saying for the past week or so that we're going to win the league now and all, but I still think that I think the pressure's getting to Arsenal. Like, if you look at their recent performances, they've been nowhere near it.
I hope
they've lost a lot of confidence.
Yeah,
the set pieces have like dried up, and like they're not as confident as scoring open play goals.
They've become predictable.
Yeah.
And I think to go along with it is you and Arsenal are trending in very opposite directions right now. Like City seem to be gaining momentum every game they play. Like every game you seem to be, 2 to 5% better, whereas every game Arsenal play they seem to be 2 to 5% worse. So I think Arsenal really need to put a stopper in that. Like I still think there would need to be some level of upset for you guys to take it from Arsenal. Like I still don't think it's a clear-cut City win, like I was saying earlier. But I definitely think if Arsenal want to stop that, they need to start putting performances in because they can't rely on you guys dropping points because if you keep playing the way you are, you just won't. You look like the team to beat right now. And I was
saying earlier on that looking at the fixture that they've got, I genuinely think it's on. Like, Sporting could come back well and truly from this, and I think even if Arsenal win, I think that means they'll probably end up playing Atleti or Barcelona. I think that's what it is.
Be Atleti in the
So they've got obviously City at the weekend. Newcastle will not be an easy game. Fulham and West Ham as London rivals. West Ham especially, I think, will be difficult because West Ham are fighting to keep their place in the Premier League, and I think they're going to be throwing the kitchen sink at it. I think Burnley have got nothing to lose apart from just going all in for it.
Yeah.
And in Palace, it would be poetic if Eze's former club were to ruin Eze's chances of winning a Premier League.
That's the thing. A part of me kind of wants it to be wrapped up before that game, so it's not us deciding whether Eze wins a trophy or not. But also, at the same time, I kind of want to be the one to not let Arsenal win the league.
But I still think there are points for Arsenal there, right? Like you say like West Ham and Burnley have nothing to lose, but
Fulham's the most likely point that I can see from them.
I still think that they'll have a similar shot against Burnley as they would against Fulham. So there's definitely still points for Arsenal there, but part of it is I think the pressure is sort of getting to them, and they're going, "Oh, we need to win these. City is coming." And especially, it's 2 games in hand now that you have.
I genuinely think that we are going to witness a Chris Richards masterclass and a Lacroix masterclass on the last game of the season.
For the 5th time, any apologies. I'm going to be saying this every episode, but apologies for any mispronunciation.
Like, we are going to see a generational performance from.
Yeah.
Lacroix.
I think if Arsenal won that Carabao Cup final against City, I think this bit of the season would have gone completely differently because it would have taken off so much pressure of them.
Yeah, but I think the one thing about Arsenal as well is that, especially at this stage of the season, they need to find some sort of motivation because obviously losing the Carabao Cup final to us would have hurt them a lot.
Yeah.
Losing to Bournemouth would have hurt them a lot.
Not looking convincing against Sporting as well will hurt them.
Yeah. I mean, Sporting were the better team that game. Like they had so many chances where they could have, like really by half time it could have been 2 or 3-0 to Sporting if it wasn't for David making some, inhumane saves. Like it was just mental.
Plus, all the talk from like rival fans as well is surely getting in their heads.
Yeah, there's so few people who want Arsenal to win the league outside of Arsenal fans that the pressure mounts very quickly.
Yeah.
If you are Arsenal,
I think it's right.
Who do you rely on right now to try and make a comeback if they want to win? Like, who do you have to look towards to step up?
But the thing is, you look at Arsenal's team at the moment, and you don't really have many players that can sort of go out there and just make a difference instantly. Like, if you look at Arsenal's attack at the moment, you've got Bukayo Saka, who's been well off it this season. You've got Gabriel Martinelli, who's been a bit off it this season. You've got Gyökeres, who's been scoring a couple recently. Martinelli had one good season, which was 22,
he had one good season, but he's had an off season for ages now, for a few seasons.
But obviously Gyökeres has scored a few goals this season. He's sort of stepping up when Arsenal need him every now and then. I think he's got 18 in all competitions this season for Arsenal, which it's not bad. But you haven't really got many players that can sort of make something happen.
And it's certainly not
create a bit of magic.
I mean,
he's not even been starting. It's mostly been Zubimendi, Rice, and Havertz in the midfield. But I'll tell you what, Zubimendi as well. I said a few months ago, I'm pretty sure I said in a previous episode a couple months ago that I really like Zubimendi. But I mean, I still do to a certain extent, but he's been poor recently. Like, especially against Bournemouth, he was just making mistake after mistake after mistake. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it was his mistake for the second goal as well, that Alex Scott scored. Like, you can't. I mean, this applies to anyone, but you can't really afford to be making blunders at this stage of the season when you've got City, you've got all the momentum in the world to come up and catch Arsenal, and obviously you've got next week where it's probably going to be a title decider. Like, whoever wins that will probably go up.
I think
is it too early to say?
I still think because whoever wins that is going to take the points off of it, which is huge, and also just the confidence coming from that. Because if City win twice to Arsenal in 3-4 weeks, something, you take that and just absolutely know that you're the better team and you're going to go out and just ride that high, really. And if Arsenal win, they go, okay, look, we can still beat teams. Like, we still deserve to be in this title fight, and I think they can carry that through the rest of the season. So I think between winning the points and just the momentum run that either team will get from beating each other, I think will effectively decide the season, barring some extreme performance from either side. But when it boils down to it, I think I think everyone will be watching this game knowing it's a title decider.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it is the biggest game of the season.
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone who's got a remote interest in the league will be watching that game this weekend because it's so critical for both teams to come away with the win. Even a draw, I don't think will cut it for either team. You both need a win if you're City and Arsenal.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, from our point of view, like, and this is factual, by the way, like, if we win every game for the rest of the season, like, we'll finish on 85 points. But if Arsenal lose and win all their games for the rest of the season, besides the City game, they'll also be on 85 points. So the league could effectively come down to goal difference. So winning this game would be massive for us, because if you said to us, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago that would be like we'd still be in with a shout of winning the league, I would have laughed at you, like, because there have been certain points this season where we've just been so inconsistent.
Yeah.
And obviously Gay and Semenyo coming into the team in January helped us a lot. Semenyo, I mean, obviously Semenyo's been really, really good. He wasn't great against Chelsea last time out. But Gay's been really, really good. He's been so good with Kusnov at the back.
Scored as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great goal.
I'm not sure if you saw as well, Kusanov nearly scored an absolute rocket against Chelsea. For some reason, shot from about 40 yards out and nearly went into the top corner.
I saw the Gay goal. I celebrated that goal, but George.
Yeah. I mean, Cherky made that goal. Cherky did so well for that goal.
Yeah.
He's just brilliant.
We didn't exactly make it hard for him.
Ryan Cherky. I'm not going to start doing it again. Right. I'm getting carried away. Ryan Cherky. Sorry. Like, Ryan Cherky has just been, like, I still think he should have started a lot more games than he has done this season. Because, in my opinion, he's been our most creative player. Like, he's got 10 assists in the Premier League, despite starting like a significantly lower amount of games than Bruno Fernandes, who's got the most assists in the league. He's just been, like, obviously he's a massive, knob, I think people call him. A bit of a shithouse. Which I think, but the thing is, you kind of need those players in the league because it makes the league entertaining again.
Yeah. If everyone's just a cardboard cutout of each other, it's no fun. Like, you need players like that who...
You need players with personality.
Yes. For better or for worse, whatever the personality is. But you need people who are different, right?
Yeah.
And there is a level, right? Like, you don't want everyone to be dislikable. But sometimes you kind of like to hate players, and sometimes that's okay, as long as they're not genuinely a terrible human being, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with having a bit of overconfidence if you prove week in and week out that you're allowed to have the overconfidence.
But that's the one thing I've noticed over the past probably 10, 15 years about, like, really skillful players like Neymar and obviously Cherky coming in now, Hazard back in the day. Like, all these skillful players used to get, like, even now they get hate all the time, and people say, like, oh, they've got like a massive ego, like, they should just keep it simple and stuff like that. But it's all well and good saying that, but the thing is, you need flair, like, you need you need that sort of entertainment factor, because like you said, Emmett, like, if you don't have that sort of wow factor, like something that other players just don't have, then there's literally no point. Like,
I mean,
I say there's no point. It just makes it less entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to do that and just not be great. Like, there's definitely something to be said if you're overemphasizing what you can do, right? If you're trying to be that guy and you just don't have the skill to be that guy, then I don't think it's quite as fun, and then it's just a little bit like, what are you doing? You're not that guy. But, like, you look at, like, Neymar, Messi, Hazard, like, these people with this overconfidence, they do it because they can, and they've proven time and time that they can. So,
take the world stage alight.
And again, that you need players like that who are interesting, even if you love to hate how much they just dribble instead of passing. You still watch it because you watch them go through 5 people on the defense. Like, if the entire game was just passing, yes, it'd still be cool moments, but sometimes you need players to watch and go, holy, he's just dribbled an entire defense, how does he do it? Or like Michael Olise, like, there's a certain level of flashy where if you have the skills to keep up with how flashy you're being, where it's really exciting to watch. If you're trying to be flashy and you don't have the skills to back it up, that's when there's a problem. And we're talking of the 1% of the 1% here. Not everyone can turn up to a Sunday league game and dribble through everybody like Messi. And
I will say, but regarding players like Olise and Yamal, it's all well and good having, like, that tiny bit of arrogance, that tiny bit of sort of willingness to want to take players on and beat them, but at the same time you have to have discipline in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you've had so many players over the years where you've had, like, all the talent in the world, so skillful, and they just haven't made it to that top level.
It's such a fine line. It's so fine, because you need to have the confidence to take players on, right? Coaches aren't going to want to play you, especially as a winger or as a 10, if you're not willing to take people on. And you have to be okay if you lose the ball from time to time. Sometimes the defender will get the better of you. It happens. What's important is that you never shy away, and you need a level of arrogance to never stop attacking, right? Because anyone who doesn't think I'm better than this guy, he's gonna get tackled twice and he's gonna stop doing it. But if you think, oh, I'm going to absolutely destroy this right back, you're gonna attack them every time. And the one time you get through, it'll be the craziest play this century. But it's a really fine line, because if you are just getting dominated, you need to accept that and play differently. And so it's finding the balance, and it's the players who find the balance who are the best in the world, because that's what everyone has to do, really.
Yeah, I think what's even more impressive is that you named Elisa and Yamal. These guys are like really skillful, yes, but they've also got the end product. Like I remember Yannick Bolasie, he was so skillful, but he had no end product at all. And I think that's what separates like them from the Yannick Bolasies to like the world class players.
Yeah, and again, I think it comes back to like, if you can do it, don't let anybody stop you. Like, if you know that you can shoot that ball, by all means do it, right? Like, even Harry Kane's goal against Real Madrid, right? It's a fairly far out shot, but not a single person went, oh, don't shoot that. But it's because it's Harry Kane. Of course he can score from there. Whereas, if it's someone else, you're going, why are you shooting from this far out sometimes? It's finding the balance where it's, you need to know that you can do it. If you don't believe you can score from 20 yards out, you're never going to shoot the ball. Whereas if you're like, I'm the best, I'm just going to score from 20 yards out and shoot it.
Yeah.
If it goes in, it's great. It's just making sure that you're not being an absolute dick and wasting the ball every time you get it either.
In regards to Champions League, I think it was the most entertaining part of last season, and I think it could be up there again in respect of entertainment, because we've already seen Bodo Glimt knock out some giants, albeit they've been knocked out themselves. But
how was this season, wasn't it? I completely forgot.
I think it will be very, very interesting to see where Arsenal go. I hope they get knocked out as a Chelsea fan, and I will forever play for their downfall. But I do also think that it's important to think there are still littler teams in this and within a fighting chance of this. And like, that's what Europe is great for. Like, you'll see teams who don't often play each other, which I think is really interesting. I think it's always a great look when teams like Bodo Glimt play an Inter Milan or a bigger side as such. I think it does wonders for world football. And finally, in terms of like the Premier League and like how I think the last results will go, I still think it's going to come down to the wire, and like, we know it's going to come down to the wire. I think Arsenal have the potential to throw this. Do I think it's coming? Yes, I do. I really and truly think that the bottle is coming.
Where do you think they drop points out of interest, Ben?
Where?
Yeah.
I think everywhere. I think they could drop. They really could drop points to everyone. I think Fulham is the most least likely, with my very little football knowledge. I generally think there is a chance that they drop points in all of their remaining games.
Fulham the least or most?
Like, Arsenal are the most likely to beat Fulham of the remaining fixtures, is what he's saying.
Really?
Like, I generally think Burnley have more of a chance of winning.
I feel like I would put Burnley and Fulham on a similar level against Arsenal.
You're a Chelsea fan, that's why.
But
just hate Fulham.
No, I'm not hating on Fulham. I just think there's plenty still, and I think
it's just a really random team.
Fulham are a good side.
Yeah.
And I honestly think they could knock them off, but they're in the realms of they don't have anything to play for, but they've got a good side.
I also think it's important to forget that Arsenal are still a good team. Like, they're still first for a reason. Like, yes, they've been poor recently, but they are still a good team. Realistically, they should be winning, I think, most of the games they have left. It's just they don't seem to want to win anything at the minute.
Yeah.
They probably will be fine, but I generally think that there is the looming chance of them bottling it is coming.
I think the more that people are talking about it, the more it's going to the players and Arteta's head that it isn't a guaranteed win. I think going back a couple weeks ago, like almost everyone was like, "Yeah, this is Arsenal's to lose. Like Arsenal should have this unless they completely ruin something." And I think we're now at that point where Arsenal have ruined things, and it is no longer up to Arsenal. I think City can absolutely chase this down.
I genuinely think that the Newcastle game will be bigger for Arsenal's season than the City game will.
I so disagree.
I disagree as well.
Like, I genuinely think that...
But I think maybe like fixtures wise, I hear where you're coming from. But I think the momentum that either team will get for beating each other is going to be such a big mental boost. Like, yeah, all these players are human, right? Like, they're not some level of supercomputer where they're performing their job. Like, they're human. They get affected by pressure and mentality. And I think whichever team wins knows how big it is, right? These players know how huge this title race is. And so, especially for Arsenal, a team that have been so close, if they lose to the team that is actively chasing them down at a speed, I think your mentality gets absolutely shattered. So I think in that respect, the City game has to be bigger than the Newcastle game because, yes, losing to Newcastle would be horrible for them. And I understand what you're saying of like you really need to be winning that game. It's a game that you should be winning, and if you lose it, it's quite bad.
This is where they need their big players to step up. They need your Salibas, your Gabriels. I would argue your Eze's to justify their money.
Yeah, I think performance-wise, I understand where you're coming from. The Newcastle's a bigger game, but I think the sheer mentality after the result of whatever the City game is, I think that is what makes that the most important game. It isn't actually necessarily which team wins. It's which team knows that they got beaten. It's which team knows that they just lost in the title race to the team that they're fighting.
I think do you guys think Tottenham go down? They lost, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
De Zerbi's first game.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it.
Yeah.
I will say
see what Lewis's opinion on it.
It was slightly unlucky for Kinski, the goal. It was a good strike, but it's come off the defender and deflected weirdly. But it seemed more positive for Tottenham from what I saw from sort of an outsider's perspective.
But they can't.
Go on.
They can't let that become a theme again.
No.
They can't let it get to one loss, two losses in a row.
No, I agree.
I
agree. I think
they need to turn something around quickly, otherwise they are in their knees in deep in that relegation fight.
I think it's absolutely really important for them to sort of rebound quickly and show this same level of positivity, because who do they have next? They play Brighton next. So I think they need to perform against Brighton. It's a big game, but they seemed
Brighton are good right now as well.
Yeah, when we watched Tottenham, they only seemed to move sideways and backwards. There was so little forwards movement. Whereas I saw in the game, there was at least attempts at forward movement, and they were taking set pieces like a set piece and not like a pass. So it to me at least, it seemed like there were positives. Again, I still think you should be beating Sunderland, absolutely. But I think you also got slightly robbed of a penalty, in my opinion. But
I saw at the end of the game Van de Ven crying. Like, I was just wondering why.
I didn't see Van der Ven cry. Romero came off with an injury, and he came off crying.
That's big for them.
Yeah, that's big as well, losing Romero.
I don't know how serious it was, but he seemed to able to walk. So I think it was just more of a I don't really want to push it, see how bad it is.
Argentina think he will miss the World Cup, I believe.
So maybe it's worse than I think, but from the impression I got, it was a bit more of a short-term injury than long-term. But I could absolutely be wrong. But I know he when he got subbed off, he came off in tears.
Out for the rest of the season. It was Tottenham captain is seen hobbling in a knee brace.
There you go. So I was wrong, but it looked, like I said, it looks to be positives to take away. But this was the same case when Tudor came in, right? Lewis came back saying there were positives to take away, and then they never converted any of those positives into results. So I think it's important that you turn this around, right? It was an unlucky goal to let in. You should have scored. Like I said, I think you got slightly robbed of a penalty. So these things, unfortunately, do kind of happen from time to time. So it's just important to make sure that this doesn't become the standard, and this game is now the exception.
Severe knee injury for Romero.
Ooh.
And it's a tear in his MCL.
That's not good. That is not very short-term injury. That is very long-term injury.
Like
that could be that's him finished.
Not good. They seem to think it should not rule him out for the World Cup. That's really weird.
That is really weird.
I'm really confused. What
depends how bad the MCL tear is, I guess, because an MCL tear can be 2 years long of injury or 2 months long of injury. So thank you very much for listening to this episode of Tactical Waffle Podcast. Sorry I missed last week. The bubonic plague came for us all. Still battling some illnesses off, but hopefully we should be back for now.
We're hoping to be in the studio at least once more.
Yes, hopefully soon. Some Easter break stuff, people traveling and things like that. But essays. But we'll be back soon in the studio. Until then, enjoy your week. Goodbye.
This has been Ben, George, Cody, and Lewis with a production team of Emmett, Sarah, and Millie.